The Guest Room, a bloody chapter story. Before we begin, make sure you're alone. Close your eyes. Listen to the rain. Because every story has a heartbeat, and some refuse to stop. You're listening to Bloody Chapter. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories that haunt the mind long after the sound fades. Tonight's story. The Guest Room. Where love checks in, but never leaves. It rained the night she listed the guest room. The rain wasn't the soft kind that helped her sleep. It was the kind that tapped against the window like someone too polite to knock, too patient to leave. For 3 months, Emma had lived alone in the small 2-story house she once shared with Daniel. Their engagement photos still hung in the hall. She didn't have the courage to take them down, and maybe, deep down, she didn't want to. Money was tight. The bills kept arriving. Daniel's name was still on them. She thought, if strangers fill the silence, maybe the house will stop feeling like a tomb. So she listed the guest room online. A few bookings came, quiet travelers, weekend couples, but she barely spoke to them. She left the key under the mat, exchanged polite messages, and pretended she didn't hear their laughter through the thin wall. Until Eli booked the room. His profile picture showed only the bottom half of a face, shadowed by the brim of a hat. The review section was empty. No past stays, no stars. Something about that blankness should have worried her, but the rain was louder than her instincts. He arrived just after dusk, carrying a single small bag. He smiled when she opened the door, the sort of smile that felt rehearsed, perfectly timed. "Long drive," he said. This place looked peaceful. Emma hesitated before answering. "It's quiet. Most nights." When he looked past her into the house, his eyes lingered on the staircase, on the framed photo of Daniel halfway up. "Nice picture," he said. "You two look happy." She felt the air thin around her. "We were." Eli didn't ask more. He stepped inside, leaving a faint trail of rain behind him. The guest room had always been Daniel's idea. He'd wanted to host travelers, make the world feel closer to their small town. Emma had laughed at him. "We're barely surviving, and you want to entertain strangers." He said it wasn't about money. It's about connection. Now, with him gone, the room was her only connection left. That first night, she lay awake listening to the rhythm of Eli's footsteps overhead. Slow, deliberate. They stopped at exactly the same place every few minutes, as though he was standing by the window, watching the garden. At midnight, the rain softened, but the footsteps continued. In the morning, he was already in the kitchen. He had made coffee, her brand, her measurements, even her favorite mug. "How did you?" she began. He smiled, sipping. "Lucky guess." The day went by quietly. He read in the living room, humming something that sounded like the melody Daniel used to whistle when he shaved. The tune scratched against her nerves until she finally asked, "Do you mind not?" He stopped. "Sorry, old habit." She didn't ask whose. That night, she dreamt Daniel was standing at the foot of the bed. He looked the same, wet hair, white shirt clinging to his chest, but when he spoke, his voice was layered, echoing. "Don't let him in again." She woke with her heart pounding. Through the ceiling she heard a soft creak, the sound of Eli closing the guest room door. When she went to make breakfast, he was gone. The mug he'd used was washed and placed upside down in the rack, perfectly aligned with the others. A note sat on the counter. "Thank you for the stay. I'll be back soon." Days passed. Then a week. Then another booking appeared under a different name, Eli lowercase. Same photo. He returned, same bag, same polite smile. "Back again," he said. "Hope you don't mind repeat guests." She told herself it was fine. She needed the money. But each time he came back, something in the house changed. Small things. The hallway mirror tilted an inch lower. The window latch in the guest room stuck shut. And once, she found Daniel's watch, missing since the funeral, lying on the nightstand in that room. One evening, while folding laundry, she heard Eli humming again upstairs. That same melody. She froze. Then she realized something impossible. The humming was layered. Two voices, slightly out of sync, blending together. She climbed the stairs. The door to the guest room was open. Eli was sitting on the bed, eyes closed, whispering to himself. His lips moved with words she couldn't hear. The lamplight flickered. When he finally looked at her, his eyes were glassy. "Did you know," he said softly, "that this room keeps the sound of rain longer than any other?" She tried to answer, but her throat locked. He smiled again, the same smile Daniel had when he proposed. The rain never stopped. Days blurred together, soft and grey, like the world was stuck between waking and dream. Eli became a rhythm in her life, arriving without warning, leaving without goodbye. Every stay was the same single bag, the same half smile, the same perfect politeness that felt hollow. But what unsettled Emma most wasn't what Eli did, it was what he remembered. One morning, while they stood in the kitchen, he asked her, "Do you still burn the coffee? You used to." She froze. "Used to." He tilted his head. "When Daniel was alive." Her breath caught. "How do you?" Eli's eyes softened with an emotion she couldn't name. "He told me." She tried to laugh it off, to tell herself it was coincidence. Maybe he'd seen the old news article, maybe the obituary that mentioned Daniel's love for home-roasted coffee. But that night, she found him in the living room, staring at a photo on the mantel. The photo of her and Daniel dancing at their engagement party. "You were happy then," he murmured. "He made you feel safe." "How do you know that?" she whispered. Eli turned, and for just a second, only a second, his face wasn't his. It was Daniel's. Same eyes, same faint scar near the brow. Then the lightning flashed, and he was Eli again. Emma stopped renting the room after that. She deleted the listing, blocked new bookings, and told herself it was over. But the next night, when she came home from work, his bag was at the bottom of the stairs. "I thought," she began, her voice trembling, "you can't be here." Eli smiled gently. "You said the room was mine." "I said that weeks ago." He stepped closer. "Time doesn't move the same for me anymore." She called the police. But when they arrived, the room was empty. No bag. No man. The officer looked around and said, "No one's been here for days." She almost believed him, until she saw it. On the nightstand in the guest room, a rose. Red, fresh, and beaded with raindrops. That night, Emma locked every door. She sat in her bed, lights off, clutching her phone. But the rain grew louder, not outside, but inside. The sound came from the ceiling, the walls, the floorboards. And underneath the rain, a voice. "Let me in, Em. It's cold out here." Her blood ran cold. No one had called her Em since Daniel. She ran to the guest room. The door was open. The lamp was on. And there he was, Eli, sitting on the bed, holding Daniel's watch. "I found it," he said. "You dropped it the night you left me." Emma's voice shook. "You're not Daniel." He smiled sadly. "No, but I remember how he felt." She backed away, reaching for her phone, but it buzzed in her hand. A notification. New message. From Eli, guest room booking. "Thank you for confirming my stay. I'll see you again soon." She dropped the phone. The message timestamp was dated 3 months ago, the night Daniel died. The rain fell heavier that night, the kind that erased shapes, blurred edges, made everything seem like memory. Emma couldn't stop thinking about the message. 3 months ago. The same night Daniel's car had gone off the road. The same night she'd heard the sirens through the storm. The same night she'd opened the guest room door to find it empty, and still swearing she heard him say, "Don't go." She sat at the kitchen table now, staring at the phone. The message glowed faintly. Outside, thunder rolled like an old voice clearing its throat. The house felt wrong. It wasn't just quiet, it was listening. She whispered, "Eli." The air didn't move. Then, soft footsteps above her. Slow, measured, the same as always. She rose, each creak of the floor beneath her feet echoing like an answer. Halfway up the stairs, the power flickered. A whisper followed the dark. "You shouldn't have left me alone, Em." The guest room door was ajar. Light pulsed from inside, not steady, but beating like a heartbeat. She pushed it open. The bed was made. The lamp glowed weakly. And there, on the wall opposite the bed, hung a mirror she didn't remember owning. It reflected the room perfectly, except for one thing. In the reflection, someone was sitting on the bed. Daniel. He looked up, eyes gentle, smile tender. "Finally," he said. "You came back." Emma's breath caught. "Daniel." She turned. The bed was empty. She looked back at the mirror. He was still there, now standing, moving toward her reflection. "Why'd you lock the door, Em? Didn't you say the room was ours?" Her voice cracked. I didn't mean." He touched the mirror from his side. The surface rippled, like water struck by rain. Then she saw it. His reflection shimmered, flickered, and changed. Eli stood where Daniel had been. Same eyes, same smile. "Names don't matter," he said softly. "You kept the room. I just stayed." The mirror darkened. The reflection of the room shifted. Now it showed how it had been months ago. Flowers in a vase, 2 mugs on the table, a jacket slung over the chair. And in the reflection's corner, her. Sitting on the floor, crying. Holding a phone. Repeating one line over and over. "He didn't mean to leave. He didn't mean to leave." Emma stumbled backward. The room pulsed around her, breathing, whispering, remembering. She realized then, Eli hadn't been visiting. He'd been returning. Each time she reopened the room, she'd called him back, piece by piece. The shape, the sound, the voice. The more she mourned, the more he filled the space she left. She looked at the bed and saw an indentation, like someone had just risen. Raindrops slid down the wall, from inside. Her heart pounded. "What do you want from me?" The answer came, quiet as breath. "Just one more night." The light flickered out. When it came back, the mirror was gone. Only the rain remained, steady, patient, endless. 2 weeks later, a new listing appeared online. Cozy room for travelers. Quiet neighborhood. Feels like home. A user named Eli_D left the first review. The host was warm, kind, and familiar. "I'll definitely be back soon." If you enjoyed tonight's story, make sure you're alone next time you listen. Because some rooms remember. And some guests never leave. You've been listening to Bloody Chapter. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories that haunt the mind long after the sound fades.